It's going to be our final school for today before we move on to our panel session. And please, Mr. James, would you oblige us by waiting behind for the panel session as
Of
well?
course, yes, not a problem.
Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to invite the last school to present for today, and that is Lockers Park, represented by Rebecca Chaplin and Mr. Gavin Taylor.
Hello, I hope you're all well. I just checking, can you see my screen?
Absolutely.
Perfect, perfect. I always worry about these things. Firstly, I'd like to introduce Adejola. Adejola's been with us for the last 2 years and joined us in an experience like many of you, coming across and joining us and trying to have the perfect preparation ready for his senior school. So as we go through the presentation, I was worried that some of you may have been on Saturday and there'd be a lot of repetition. So we thought Adejola would be able to share some of his experiences and some of his feelings about the school and answer any questions that you may have with any worry of this future situation that you're going through for your son. Lockers Park is an all-boys day and boarding school with a fantastic reputation. We've just celebrated 150 years, so we are fully aware of the traditions and expectations within the prep school environment, and we send boys on to many of the very best public schools across the country. I'm delighted to have been on with Beeds and Kent College, two schools that we have boys going to and looking at, so it's schools that we know very well. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself very briefly and tell everybody what what you most cherish about Lockers Park.
Adejola here. Lockers Park, amazing school. I love just the facilities, the teachers, everything's just perfect. When you enter, just settle down so well, and just lessons really nice, boarding house really nice. The friends that you make are amazing here.
Thank you. I will keep on asking you, Adejola, as we go through. One of the elements that we are really proud of is our pastoral care. This is both for our day boys and boarding. It's something that we have been rewarded for and nominated for success in both in British awards through the Independent Schools Parents Awards through the BSA. It's something that we're incredibly proud of. We put a strong system in place. When you first arrived, Adejola, how did the boarding house make you feel? Were you welcomed?
I was welcome, yeah, but it was tough. Coming from a different country, a different school into a new school, it takes a while to settle in. And after a while, with the the house parents and everyone who helped me settle in, it just became a really good experience. The boarding house really became like a second home to me, if you understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you been able to share your experience? I know we have things like the wellbeing survey and student listeners. Has there always been the opportunity to share your feelings at the school?
Definitely.
Okay, brilliant. There is a lot of things that we see that we put in place with different activities, counsellors, sensory areas within the school that we can try and make sure that every boy's needs are catered for. I think the big thing about the school is we talk about is academic excellence. Our biggest focus is on the boys' academic levels. It's about making sure that we stretch boys and push them with aspirational choices for their senior school. We are constantly making sure that we put, and I'm so lucky to have an amazing team of inspirational teachers around me. We are putting boys with the very best facilities. We are giving them the very best teachers. And we are trying to make sure they get opportunities to really develop in all areas of the curriculum. I suppose I'd come to you about what are the teachers like?
Oh, teachers are really kind. They really help you. They help you get better in everything. All you need to do is speak up, go to your teacher, ask for help, and they help you excel in learning. When I joined, I was in set 3 for a lot of my classes, like bottom set. And after a term or two, I became set 1, top set, in half my classes, just with the help of lovely teachers.
And what's the expectation of work beyond the classroom?
Just
Do you get given homework and prep and?
we get given prep every night from 5 to 6, except for Wednesdays. We expect you to do that.
Yes. And what about revision when you've got upcoming exams? And do you get support?
Yeah, definitely. Especially in the boarding house, you can ask any teacher on duty for help.
And the teachers in the boarding house, are they the same as the teachers within your school day?
Some live in the school, some live very near, and they come in and help us. They do some activities in school.
Brilliant. I think academia is going to be really important in any environment you choose. I'm very much focused, education on your son being an all-boys prep school, but I think finding the right school with the academic stretch is going to be vital, and that is what we try to do. From the moment the boys come and sit their assessment prior to joining, we are sharing and transparent with the results they achieve, what we can do, and working with families to make sure that we find the boys the right senior school. We look at the interests of each boy, and we have a tailored and individualised education for the boys in making sure that we're fully prepared for their senior school assessments. They're fully prepared to do common entrance. As a school, we thoroughly believe in common entrance. It's a fantastic opportunity at 13 to do a full set of exams prior to GCSEs. It gives you an opportunity to revise. It gives the opportunity to be assessment in all areas of the curriculum, not just English and maths. I suppose when we think about prep schools, we think about facilities and we think about the extracurricular offering. Lockers Park is no different to many other schools. We have fantastic facilities with the pitches that we have in place. We've got a completely refurbished sports complex with our own gym, with a golf simulator. We have local support that comes in for golf lessons with the professional from a very well-respected golf club. We have a fencing coach. We have a climbing wall, and we do climbing sessions. We have a squash coach working in where the boys with representation for both local and national level squash. What are the facilities? What's been the sort of best of the facilities, and what have you really liked of the facilities at Lockers Park?
Definitely science, the science block where you have junior and senior, the things you can do there, what things you can make. As of like right now, we're doing circuits, and every science lesson you get to make a new circuits, opening your mind to new things about science. And also the animals in science, just like lizards, snakes, stick insects and fishes we can play with in lessons.
You're obviously you're a very humble young man, and you've not mentioned your sporting ability, but you're incredibly obviously very talented at sport. What support have you had both for sort of local and national competition?
So nationally, I came fourth in high jump and became second overall relay. It's just like coming from triangular with the coaches that just helped us. It's just like a really big achievement, and the amazing head of sport here really helped me get up to like that level.
And what's been the best sport?
My football, definitely.
Football, oh, of course. And has there been any opportunity to do sports that you've not done before?
Yeah, like table tennis. I didn't really do it before I came here, but now I do it more regularly.
And we try to make sure that every boy finds their sport, every boy tries to find their passion. And what we put in place is a fantastic system in both regional and national competition. It's so lovely to be giving boys the opportunity to compete against the best boys across the country at this age. And we have many of our boys going on to achieve sports scholarships in their senior school. And we've been delighted with recent sports scholarships in swimming, in skiing for Harrow. It's delightful. We're delighted in sharing that we are national ski champions at under 13. So there are lots of different things that we do, and we do very well. We've had boys finishing, like Adejola, in national athletics competitions in very, very strong places. Alongside the sports, there's so much that happens. We have our own chess team where we finished third nationally. We've got the opportunities to do programming with robotics, and the boys compete in a Lego league, both at regional and national level, creating a Lego robot that they program to move other pieces of Lego across a course. We go to the Goodwood Festival of Speed, where the boys in the top years are able to build an electric car and take it and compete against other schools in racing. There's debating, newspaper, cookery. There are so many different activities that go on in the evenings. What activities do you do on a normal week?
On Monday, I do golf. Tuesday is cooking. Wednesday, skiing. And I think that's all for me. But next time, I might pick up cricket.
Okay.
Yeah.
So an incredibly busy week.
Yeah.
Do you get much free time?
Oh, you get a lot of free time. After supper, you get around 1 to 2 hours, maybe 3, depending on what time you have supper. You can go to the boarding house, just chill in the boys' hall, go to the sports hall, or gym, play table tennis, and do it.
And we're a school that we don't allow mobile phones, and it's very much our decision for that purpose, and we totally agree with that. How have you found that? What do you do in the evenings instead?
You get to mingle with other boys, get to find out about their culture. Maybe you can watch TV with them, just talk, maybe talk to teachers, read books. It's really nice.
A lot of what we talk about is when we talk about abundant opportunities, this idea of creating an enthusiasm for life. We believe that we put in place here the foundations for these young men to be fully prepared for whatever they're going to go into. We spent a lot of time putting our learner profile together, working with senior schools, working with universities and working with employers. We found that it's a lot of the qualities that are going to be important to these young men in the future that are beyond academic. They are not just looking for A stars in their GCSEs and A levels. They are looking to be resilient. They are looking to be creative. They are looking to challenge what has been done in the past, challenge what is being done in this place, and have that confidence to challenge people in the right way. And that starts by giving them the confidence to be able to challenge us as teachers, to challenge me as a headmaster, making sure that there's a lot of opportunities for pupil voice, making sure that the boys have those opportunities of leadership. And I suppose that brings me on to the question of what opportunities have you had with positions of responsibility?
So last term I was set leader for Mountbatten, really, really tough competition. I used other year aides to help me make choices, get us into the top 3. And it was amazing just being set leader.
So Mountbatten is one of our sets, so like houses. Yeah. Is there a strong competition?
Really, really competitive.
Yeah, and do you enjoy that competition?
I love it.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Although I think it's one of the really positive of working with boys is that we get to embrace those opportunities with competition and really drive that forward. There is so much that can be done in a single-sex school that I don't feel can be covered in the same way in co-ed. I think the openness that we can have in conversations and the staff. Do you feel that if there's ever a problem, you could go to staff?
You could always go to the staff. I don't always understand it.
Yes. And is that in the boarding house as well? Or?
Anywhere. Boarding house, in lessons. If you just speak up, they'll always help you.
Thank you. Oh, perfect. As if planned. We talk a little bit about boys only. We talk about the confidence to speak, that supportive environment, the talking about their pupil voice. I think one of the things I've really enjoyed is the boys are very open to have conversations without fear of embarrassment. I think one of the things that we try to do is we try to make sure this is an environment without humiliation. We know how much the damage that being humiliated or being worried of humiliation can cause within education. And having an all-boys environment, we can have those conversations with the boys. We can have honest conversations with the boys and answer their questions without there being any fear or any embarrassment. I suppose that brings me on to friends. How have you found it? Because obviously you arrived in year 7, not knowing anyone.
No, I'm still. The first day, I got welcomed by so many people. They embraced me in the football, everything, and my friends just got more and more friends, got more and more popular, and it's been amazing ever since.
So at a weekend, obviously we have Saturday morning school. Which is very much an academic program and part of our real strength in academia. But what then would you do? Do you go out to people's houses? Do boys come in?
Yeah, some boys have invited me to their houses and they're very, very welcoming. They keep asking me to come back. And even when you're bored, you get to go out and go to around the area and just have fun there.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of everything that we offer. We try to make sure there's good historic trips. There's opportunities to go to football or rugby matches. There's opportunities to visit senior schools. We try to make sure that the boys get an education here that is, cannot be compared. We try to make sure that we are doing a fantastic job with these young men. And I suppose we only have to look at the schools that we feed to, the destination schools for our boys, to show that actually if we can put the strong foundations in for these young men, that anything can be built on top. My last question for you, Adjola, before I let you go and enjoy lunch, is what's been your highlight? What's been the best thing about Lockers?
Definitely the events that happen, even if it's not boarding, just school events, especially like Dark Tower and the events that happen on the weekends. It's amazing.
I'm going to have to ask you to explain what Dark Tower is, because there's going to be so many people watching this who have got no idea. These small things that the school does that becomes normal to us. But
so basically, they turn off all the lights in the school, and the teachers try and find you in the dark, and you're just trying to get some paper and bring it back to your camp against other houses and sets.
So the school has many traditions and games that have been played here for a long time, and it's been so lovely And it's so lovely to hear that those traditions are still valued. It's so lovely to hear that the boys really value their childhood and can go out and play in the woods within the school. They can go out and play with each other within our grounds. They get all these opportunities that the need and desire to be on a device all day, every day is just not necessary. It's only a very brief presentation, and I would say to anybody, if you get the opportunities, look at our social media, look at our school website, do come and visit. We have open mornings, we have scholarship days coming up. We even have a senior school fair where we have a number of the senior schools on screen at the moment that will be visiting us and sharing the information with our families about how that transition works from prep school to senior school. One of the things that we are a small and supportive environment, and we do a tailored and individualised education for every boy. And I think what we can do from that is make sure that we get the very best start for these young men and help them really in their next steps, in not only within their school life, but also in every part of their life, in giving them the very best start. Thank you. I don't know if there's any questions for either myself or Adejola before he pops off to lunch.
Okay, amazing presentation there, and thank you for bringing him along. Yeah, so would you say your choice of activities is basically your own choice, or you were guided? How did you make the choices you made for the activities you're involved?
Yeah, you go for it.
No, the question
You
is
guys
for him,
pick what
yes.
activities you can go to, but really all the activities are really fun. So, but you get to pick which ones you want to go to, even if, like on the weekend, you get to choose, and it's just like that. And if it's like on like a school day, you get to like sit inside if you don't want to go. But we really encourage you to go for it because it's really a really good opportunity.
From a school's perspective, we're encouraging boys to do things that they've not done before, especially at a young age. I think boys can be very set in their ways of what they think they're going to like. And actually, things like cookery club and things like debating seem to be most popular activities within the school day. And they're things that not everybody thinks at the start that they're going to enjoy, but absolutely they love it. We publish all our activities early the term before so that the parents can speak to their sons and it can be an informed decision made by their families. We try to encourage all the boys to have a real varied options as well. We don't want every boy to focus purely on sports or purely on academia. I think at this age, it's about getting balance. And I think what we try to do is make sure that the balance is there for every boy within our care.
Amazing. Okay, then Mr. Gavin, can you just quickly take us through what admission process is like at Lockers?
We try to make sure that even our admission process is individualised and tailored for the families. So the first contact is when people contact the school, Rebecca or Claire in our admissions team will be in contact with those families and try to organise an opportunity, one, to visit if possible, or two, to have a private Zoom conversation or online meeting with myself or part of my senior leadership team. And we then discuss the boys, most importantly, and how that they will join and fit in with the school. We look at their interests and areas that we can look for development. We then do an online assessment with the boys, and everything that we do from that point is transparent. We're transparent with our results. We're transparent with any extra support that we feel will be needed. And we try to make sure that we guide the parents through this process. And we try to make sure we're really honest with parents. If we feel that this is not going to be the right school, we try to help them recommend a school that would be perfect for their son. I think most importantly, we all got into education for the right reasons. We all wanted to make a difference. And that still sits with me today as much as it did when I first joined in education. And it's making sure for every boy that we are guiding them, we are helping them, and we're working with the families to make sure that Lockers Park is going to be an absolute success for them in this first part of their journey. And if not, it's trying to guide them to a school that we feel that they'll be better suited.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that presentation, and thank you for your answers as well. Dr. Alo, would you want to say something before I move to the video session?
Absolutely. I actually just want to say to our parents to really consider a prep school education for your children, particularly for your boys. My children go to a prep school and I would do it all over again the same way. There is something to be said for a prep school education before your children go on to senior school. So you can imagine that the year 7s and 8s in the prep school are the older children in the prep school compared to being the younger children in a senior school. And that right there makes a world of difference in terms of how your year 7 and year 8 son or daughter is prepared for life in senior school. It does a world of good for their self-esteem, for their independence being built up, and for a lot that they're exposed to. So I find time and time again that some of our families aren't even aware that you can actually send your child to a prep school before going on to a senior school. And an all-boys prep school like Locust Park is completely phenomenal. Definitely one that I want to highly encourage our parents to consider for your year 7 or year 8 son. It's really, it does a world of good for children. Trust me on this one. So before we let Adejola go, and I think, Adejola, I think dad might actually be on the call, because I've seen, I think dad is on the call actually. Okay, so can you quickly tell us what school you were in Nigeria? And when you came to when you went to Locust Park, what were the differences? Like, what were you exposed to at Locust Park, and what are the differences generally? Thank
So I
you.
was in Children's International School in Nigeria, and when I joined, it was basically just more opportunities and like people from different cultures, and just had to like get more friends. Was not really that much different.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm
Okay.
going to let Adejola go now, but yeah, it's much appreciated in sharing your feelings on the school. So thank you. Right, yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, you can. Okay, so Mr. Gavin, please wait on the call for a little more so that you can join the panel as well.